I keep forgetting to change that music because it keeps sounding like I'm getting ready to play Call of Duty or something. Welcome to Taxation is Theft, the show that talks about all the ways the government is ripping you off and what you can do to stop them. Broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube from an underground bunker deep within the jungles of Mexico. I'm Dan, Taxation is Theft Berman, former candidate for president of the United States, currently in the race for governor of Texas. And tonight I have an awesome show for you. Magnus Panvidya is going to talk to us about his organization and upcoming events, End the Damn Wars, because they tell us they pulled out of Afghanistan, but I'm not buying it. I don't think this thing's over. You've got a multi-trillion-dollar a year defense budget that's not just going to go away. You've got all these corporations that are milking that money. What are they going to do? Shut down? Oh, money's gone. We're going to go figure out how to do some other shit now. Not going to happen. We're also going to talk about some Taliban memes, because apparently the Taliban's getting in on the meme wars against libertarians, no less. But before we get started, if you're watching the live stream, make sure to like and share and comment. Ask your questions, send your comments. Super important, because we are up against the algorithms. This is the show they absolutely don't want you to see, because this is the show that tells you how to not pay taxes. And tonight's episode is brought to you by the Nug of Knowledge, indoor-grown, chemical-free, smokable hemp flower, and Delta 8 vape cartridges. I think I'm not supposed to say legal in all 50 states anymore, but fuck it. Get elevated at nugofknowledge.com. And now on to the show. I got to do this a little bit differently. There we go.
Yeah,
Magnus, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't get a new webcam till Friday because mine decided to die 10 minutes into the 12-hour live stream promoting the event, which was awesome. So I had to go no webcam that entire time.
That was totally the NSA, man.
Yeah, it's fried. Like, it's dead. They zapped it.
That sucks.
But yeah,
man.
It's been a wild month.
Yeah, it's. I almost had issues getting my camera started today. I'm cursed. Yeah, tech issues suck. And funny enough, this show with you on my show got delayed last week because of the hurricane.
So, multiple times.
Yeah, because my power was out for I thought it was gonna be like a day, and I had my internet and everything on battery backup, but then I was like, no, now I gotta run my laptop on the battery too, and I'm like, things been up. It had already been up for 30 something hours. And I was like, I don't think it's going to make it all the way through the show.
Right. Just die in the middle of the show.
Oh yeah. Not meant to last so long, but everything finally came back. So that was awesome. Yeah, so here we are. So let's talk about ending the damn wars. So is it over? Are we out of Afghanistan?
No, this is what it's driving me up the wall, because I'm seeing these takes from people in the LP, people like Democrats, socialists, all kinds of people are like, oh my God, it's finally over. When in the very speech Joe Biden gave announcing that we were pulling out, he told people straight up that they were going to ramp up the war on terror in doing drone strikes and shit all across in more theaters, expanding it into Africa, expanding it into East Asia. And we drone striked Afghanistan, just 2 days ago? So, yeah, it's not over. We're just pulling the troops out. So then people won't care as much.
That was 2 days ago. That's ancient history, man.
I mean, it's a meme, but it's almost that way now. So much chaos happens every day. That's wow.
And I honestly hate the fact that I even hate that I'm joking around about it, because realistically, these are actual people, and it's kind of easy for us to joke around about it because they're a million miles away and we've never seen them. We don't know what their faces look like. We don't even know their names. And it's these are actual people. Imagine if somebody drone striked your grandmother. That's the kind of shit that's going on here. It's fucking ridiculous. And yeah.
And people, it just goes to show that there's no such thing as precision airstrikes when you're fighting a decentralized insurgency. It's a joke. The fact that it was ever sold that way should have been obvious to people under Obama when we had 90% civilian casualties. They're looking through a grainy screen from the United States on a drone operator and just dropping a missile on a building and calling it good and not even really checking. And it's really funny too, because they can't even verify whether they hit the target they were saying they hit, because there's no one on the ground to go check if there was a confirmed kill. But who are on the ground are the people that live there that are pulling out bodies of little girls and shit out of the rubble. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly why this all needs to come to an end. This is too much. It's horrific.
I feel like if they were and I know we see pictures of this, right? Like we see pictures of this that start floating around, but like I see more pictures of people on vacation posting their dessert than I see like people in the Middle East posting pictures of, yeah, this is my grandma's house. We just pulled her out and she's like in pieces because of some drone strike. Are they not on social media there? Are they not posting this shit? Or is that stuff censored off social media? Because I think that would be like a great, like, I'm scrolling down and like that's in my feed. Oh my God. Like, whoa, what's going on here?
There's a lot of it. A lot of it is censored off of social media, or you just don't follow the right accounts, or it's very heavily algorithmically suppressed, because at this point in the Middle East, everyone's running around with cell phones. And especially now that Live Leak has gone down, that used to be like the number one source for getting a lot of this stuff, was you just go to Live Leak. And yeah, people, it's awful. I mean, the infamous one was the wedding bombing in Yemen, where they filmed driving, they filmed afterwards, and like they filmed the funeral and everything. There was that video of the wedding that we struck, that literally they have like a live recording of it getting struck by a missile. And it's like, but that stuff gets suppressed. Same with like a lot of stuff that goes on in Israel and Palestine. Ton of that gets suppressed. Like you don't see those videos. You don't see that. They get suppressed on Twitter. They get taken off of YouTube. So they really learned their mistake from Vietnam of like, well, if we just don't let people see this, then, there won't be such anti-war fervor. And they go above and beyond to make sure that none of this ever hits like a broader audience.
What's the story with Live Leak? I didn't realize they were offline.
Yeah, I don't know the full background behind it, but essentially they're closing down. I think it's like the usual thing we keep experiencing with every cool website on the internet of payment processors threatening to pull. So
why don't they just go like straight crypto? Man, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I hear about this shit and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, their website's still up, but I guess they're shutting down.
I think like a lot of it's just, payment processors and stuff threatening them, and internet, ISPs threatening them and everything. Because LiveLeak was the source to go actually see real footage, real combat footage, real like, non-media filtered, non-censored of any event. It always been like the go-to, and then now it mysteriously goes down. So, put your conspiracy caps on.
I mean, it's up right now. Is it supposed to be down?
It doesn't come up on Google.
Liveleak.cc. I wonder if Google
I don't think that's a legit site, because if you go to liveleak.com, it takes you to a web hoster.
Really? Okay.
So it's enjoy all the viruses you just downloaded clicking on that.
Yeah, no, it's liveleak.com takes me to itemfix.com, which, yeah, this looks like fucking Pornhub with just like random security camera footage instead.
Yep.
Anyways, that was a nice little tangent.
Right.
Yeah, so it really fucking sucks. And there is a project that I'm working on that's kind of like decentralizing social media the way just the regular internet is. Because like if you think about how the regular internet is, right, you have like anyone can set up a server in their basement and like it's online and anybody can visit that, and anybody can type in a domain name and it's there. And especially now that you have the .crypto domains, it's like it's all that's how they were shutting down Pirate Bay, which, by the way, if anybody from Pirate Bay is listening, go get your .crypto, because you can set up that domain and now they can't keep taking your domains down. But yeah, that was that. And then IP addresses is kind of the other thing, which I guess we're kind of getting around with VPNs, although it's not absolute. But yeah, that's kind of that's kind of the thing, right? Is you can put your content anywhere on any server anywhere in the world, unless it's social media. Then it's like, once it's on Facebook or YouTube, it's on their servers. So how do you get it off of their servers? And what I'd like to see, and I know there were some prototypes like that, like there was Mastodon, I think, was one of them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but like it's the problem I've seen with a lot of these alternative social medias is that they're very not user friendly. And if they can get over that, and so this is why I created this zinc social, which is kind of like a way to like just connect a bunch of social media, but ultimately, like, I'd like to be able to create content that's totally decentralized, where you can set up any server anywhere, and like that's your content, and you don't have to worry about getting threatened by payment processors or any of that shit.
Yeah, that's the goal, is eventually to get like a peer-to-peer internet, like exclusively peer-to-peer internet. And a lot of people have talked about that, and we're not far away from it, but it's definitely something we need to like put more energy and work towards.
Definitely.
And definitely like with the event, to get onto that, like I'm 90% sure that that's algorithmically suppressed super hard, because a lot of people will say, oh, we don't see the posts and we don't see anything like that, even though they're right there. And we had issues with our Eventbrite page, and we had issues with Facebook. So it's like, yeah. But then again, anything that even remotely touches me is like social media poison, because I can't even make a Facebook anymore. I'm pretty sure I could go to Somalia and go through like some 1980 computer and plug it into a VPN and put a fake name, and it'll still get banned the moment I hit create count. So
yeah, it's fucking weird. I mean, like it's even like it's just so fucking ridiculous. Like, and then you have man, I don't even know where to go with this, because it's just like that thought just puts like so many fucking negative thoughts in my head about all the shit that's going on. Like, I just saw this new bill in Australia that I believe they passed, which basically gives the government the authority to log into your social media account if you're a suspect in some crime or something. They can now log into your social media account, and they can edit and post under your name in order to basically like, snitch on your friends. So get your friends to like, you post something about weed, and then one of your friends says like, oh yeah, let's meet up. And then, hey, surprise, it's us, the Australian police.
Yeah. And actually there's a very disturbing kind of background to that whole thing, to where that program is very, very similar to something that South Korea did right before COVID. And COVID kind of swept this news under the rug. But it was almost the exact same kind of program. It allows the government to access your phone and look through and go into your accounts and everything. Well, there was a giant scandal because the state over there got busted downloading child pornography onto people's phones and then arresting them. And it got when the whistle finally got blown on it, it was so bad that there was like mass protests in the streets in South Korea, and the president had to come out and make a statement and like apologize for this. But then COVID happened like a week later, and it all got, swept under the rug, because Korea was, a shit show hotspot kind of, and everything they were doing there. And they used that same program to do their whole peer-to-peer tracking that people loud and tout over here. They were using the same program, the same source code essentially, for their new program to do the COVID tracing that they just a couple, weeks before that got busted downloading child pornography on political enemies' computer. And that's the same kind of thing Australia is doing right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if like dedicated anti-lockdown activist in Australia gets caught with child pornography. Like, watch for that news story, because I guarantee it's coming.
No, it really is ridiculous. I mean, like, how many times have we seen the police just like there was one where like this guy wasn't even looking for it. He was just like filming because he got stopped by the cop. And you see this like barely even like out of the corner of the camera, you see the cop just kind of like nonchalantly throwing a bag of weed in the back seat, and then putting his glove on and picking it up. Oh, what's this? Like, and that's just the ones that get caught on camera. How many others are there that don't get caught on camera?
Exactly.
And then
you're going to give them the digital version of that, essentially.
Exactly. That is fucking crazy. And like what scared the shit out of me, because like I understand like computers and networks and internet and how all that stuff works, but not everybody does. And I saw this case. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a lawyer. He was telling me about this case where this guy got caught with he didn't even have any kiddie porn on his computer, but he was basically charged because the FBI had the kiddie porn, right? But that's legal somehow. They set up a server and they tracked the IP addresses that downloaded from that server, and then they traced it back to the ISP, to the internet that was going to this guy's house. So they arrested the guy. They couldn't find it on his computer, but it went to his IP address. So he was going to jail, and he was being charged, and he was almost like he was about to get shafted, and like finally someone came along and said, oh, well, the wireless routers that the ISPs are giving you don't have passwords on them. So it could have been his next door neighbor that logged into his thing and downloaded from his Wi-Fi. And like, I mean, this was probably like in the 90s or something, or,
right.
But it's like, this is like, it doesn't matter if you have a fucking lawyer. It doesn't matter if it's a state issued lawyer. It doesn't matter if it's like this is, and I've seen this even with crypto a couple years ago. Most lawyers don't even understand how this shit works. And so if you don't have a lawyer who's going to defend you, who understands what the fuck crypto is, and I have a friend who is now sitting in prison when the government admitted he broke no laws.
Well, that's becoming increasingly common, unfortunately.
And it's all just a simple matter of well, we think that you broke this law and we don't understand what the hell you're doing, or we don't understand the technology involved in this, so we're just you're guilty. What else can we do? And
right.
But it's not even that. They're just like they don't even put it in front of a jury. They just convince them to plead guilty because that's easier for everybody. And you're gonna shave 30 years off your sentence if you just do that.
Right. Have the judge save face by giving you like a plea bargain or something that you get time served and you can just walk out. Like we see that all the time.
And I think these fucking cops are like, I think they use that as an excuse because they know what they're doing is immoral, right? They know if like they catch you with a bag of weed and like, oh, we're gonna fuck up this kid's life and send him to prison for 60 years. Like they know that's bad, but like in their head, oh, don't worry about it, kid. You're just gonna get probation for 6 months. But it's like the third time he's been busted, or like, whatever the case is going to be, it's not going to be that. But it's like when the cops are telling somebody that as they're arresting them, I think that's them like trying to clear their own conscience. Like,
right.
Like, oh, don't worry. It's not going to be so bad.
Yeah. I'm just doing my job. Don't worry about it, buddy.
I think that's more for them than for the person they're arresting.
Yep. And yeah, that's, and you're kind of seeing this expand too of the media and the federal agencies like scaring the shit out of the cops for nothing to get them all weird because, to say what the event is. So on September 11th, we're going to be in Washington, D.C., right on Capitol grounds at John Marshall Park. We're going to be doing a big anti-war event. Like Scott Horton's going to be there. There's going to be it's total unity kind of protest is the idea. So we have ex-Bernie Sanders staff people, ex-Tulsi people. Like there's going to be a big group of people out there. They already released a statement that they're concerned about violence around the event. And it's like, what it's an anti-war protest. But now that that's out there, any cops that are on that, the only thing they're going to hear is, oh, well, we got some worrying about some violence around this event. So they're going to show up all weird. It's just like, You're seeing this whole chain of custody of stupidity, essentially.
Have you tried reaching out to the police just to like? I don't know.
Yeah, no, we have permits. We've met with like DC Metro. We've met with the Parks Department. Like we've gone through the whole system. We're green lighted on every part of the event, but the feds are still like just putting out stupid shit.
Like, call them every other week and be like, yeah, we just want to reassure you, like, we see this bullshit. We just want to make sure that you guys like aren't spooked. You guys aren't like, paranoid when you get there, where there's absolutely like, we're telling people not to be violent. Like,
yeah. Like if anyone jokes around about like climbing any buildings or something, we're gonna tell them to leave. Like,
because like, I would think like if you did that a lot, that would at least build some rapport with them so that you wouldn't have any kind of incident like that. But I mean, you always have your agent provocateurs that, who knows? I mean, especially
I expect one idiot to show up and be very sus and glow. That's every
like if you have like, the I don't want to call them deep state, but that's probably who they are, like running around trying to say like we expect violence. Like, because that's not coming from the, like, who's that coming from?
Yeah, it was literally a statement from like Capitol Police. So
Capitol Police. But you've talked to Capitol Police.
Well, we've talked to DC Metro Police because technically we're not going to be like on Capitol steps or like directly in Capitol property. So it's DC Metro and the Parks Department, government people, 300 different cop agencies for the same square mile of city. You know,
call Capitol Police. Talk to them.
Can you even call Capitol Police? I feel like that would be awkward. They're probably getting like 200,000 calls a day of like, lock them up and like, you're a hero. So
yeah, probably not. Honestly, I think people are just typing that shit online, but like, you know how people are, man. Everybody's all fucking talking. Nobody wants to even show up for a protest. They're not gonna pick up the phone.
Right. And yeah, that's the thing is like the one frustrating thing with the event is we've had such a hard time with speakers because it's a unity event. So sometimes people will say they'll speak thinking it's like explicitly a libertarian event or explicitly a left-wing event. There. Yep. Lots of that. Got lots of that and nonsense. So we're pulling together. It still should be good. It still should be a nice event. And DC isn't the only event. We now have 11 events. I think it's Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, New York City, Denver, Portland, Sacramento, California. I'm trying to remember all of them. There's one more. Scottsdale, Arizona, and a couple more that I'm blanking on. There's like 3 events in Florida, and then pretty much everywhere across the country, you'll only be like a 3-4 hour drive away from an event. We have all the details on the Twitter, which is End the Damn Wars. So if you can't make it out to DC, you can show up to one of those. And then also we're still putting a call out for people to organize events. If there is an event in their area, like, hey, go out and just post, hit us up on Twitter and do something yourself. I mean, there was a lady yesterday in Berlin that was just walking around with the End the Damn War sign by herself. It's like, that's awesome. Like literally it's just something like that. I mean, this is the perfect show to talk about it. Mr. Big Hat yourself, just little acts of messaging can make bigger deals than people think, even if you're just by yourself, there's no fanfare or big like event or anything, just like walking around with a sign or a t-shirt or something can cause conversations. And it's little things like that build up and are really important.
Yeah. That reminds me, I think we have a t-shirt that says like, I'm trying to think if there's anything in the taxation theft store that like matches that. And we have a t-shirt that says like, I know we have one that says taxes pay for killer cops. I think we have another one that says like taxes pay for bombs or something like that.
Nice.
If we don't, we need one. But yeah, so what, do you have any like, you said you have some speakers already confirmed. Who's going to show up?
Yeah, so we have Scott Horton and Danny Schertzen. I always mess up his last name, from antiwar.com. And then we have Spike Cohen's going to be there. We have Garland Nixon. He's a board member of the ACLU. He's going to be speaking. And then there's a whole bunch of people that said they're going to show up and said they were going to speak, but they don't want anybody to know until the day of because their audiences will probably tear them apart. We'll see what happens there, but there might be some names that shock you that might show up. I don't know, but this whole thing's been a mess. Unity and coalition politics is the most frustrating thing in the world. It's literally pulling teeth.
Is Bernie going to be there?
I mean, we're going to be outside of his office. We might yell at him. I've hit up. Wait, no, actually they're on vacation, aren't they? So they're not even going to be there.
Oh, the Congress?
Yeah.
The Senate?
Because I kept hitting up Thomas Massey to be like, Massey, we'll be right outside your office. Come outside, join the End the Damn Wars march.
I've been trying to get his attention because apparently he's been very critical of the income tax and Social Security. So yeah, I'm like, dude, because actually, like, I want to connect him with some of these tax honesty movement guys that have been, basically who have unraveled the law in a ways to prove that nobody needs to pay it. That's the party I'm on, which is, just, we don't know the tax, we're not going to pay it. Some of them include former IRS agents, and it's like, if we had a congressman come out and like say like, yeah, I've done the research, because I actually got turned on to Joe Bannister, who's the former IRS agent, from an interview that he did on like Fox News or like with some national news channel with Ron Paul. And like Ron Paul was basically saying, yeah, he's right, but that wasn't his strategy. So he's like, I'm going to attack it a different way. But he's like, yeah, he's right. if we had more congressmen saying like, yeah, just don't fucking pay the tax.
Yeah,
I mean,
like if you could have Massey on Twitter, just be like, hey, by the way, you don't have to pay your taxes. That'd be so huge.
Yeah, it's exactly. Imagine if he tweeted that. Because he's always tweeting like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to pay into Social Security. Like, I'm never gonna get that money back. And it's like, yeah, so stop paying it. Tell your people how to stop paying it. Tell your people they don't have to pay it.
Right. If I get a hold of him, I'll tell him to touch base with you for sure.
All right, sure.
Yeah, and like I said, we've been trying to get him on the End the Damn War stuff. We've been trying to get so many people on it, but it's a combination of it being unity politics, which people hate. Because even if people aren't like explicitly turned off from showing up to an event where like maybe the opposing political party might be at or something, there's even more people that are uninterested in doing an event unless they can run it and make it all about them. Right. So it's like, there's been a couple organizations that are like, well, unless we can like fundraise for our organization and like control all the speakers and who can show up and blah, 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 then we want nothing to do with it.
Wow.
Which
yeah.
so,
I've heard of that.
So
shit.
Annoying.
I've heard of that shit with so many organizations. Yeah. And it's, I don't entirely blame all of the speakers. Cause I know that pressure, like there's pressure for that. That's not just them. Like, I know, like, you've got political parties that are saying like, oh no, you can't go to that event because, blah, blah, blah. So now you have like the party which sucks. It would be great if they could just say, well, fuck you guys. I'm going to do what I want to do. But like at that point they lose the party, they lose the power, even if it was somebody, who Massey or Tulsi or Ron Paul or if they turn their back on the party like that, they would lose that support. And I know, like, Trump was somehow able to overcome that, but that's a completely different story. But for most people, it's like if you just ignore party orders, you're blackballed, and there's no coming back from that, and you're going to lose everything. Well, perfect example was what's his name? The Libertarian Republican, Amash.
Yep.
He said, I'm not going to play this party bullshit, and he got kicked out of Congress for that.
Yep. And then like, and we have a couple examples of the Green Party is co-organizing in a couple places and showing up in a couple places, and they've gotten so much shit from their own party for showing up. And like, it doesn't even have anything to do with me because I'm only going to be in DC, but like there's been drama just to show up and be around libertarians. They're like, how dare you organize with libertarians? And it's like, what the hell? And that's the only, like, because obviously politically I'm very different from most of the LP, but I hang out with people in the LP because they're the least like that. They're the least like tribalistic. They'll show up to whatever for the most part. But yeah, it's been a pain in the ass. And I mean, Arizona is the crazy one because it's the LP. A couple people from the GOP are showing up, and then you have the Arizona Socialist Party and the Arizona Communist Party, which I guess are different things, and the Arizona Green Party are all going to be at the same event, which is going to be like, holy crap,
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we're going for. That's the energy. Like I don't, my whole thing that I try to advocate always when I do the unity politics is like, I don't care what you feel about literally any other subject besides the one subject we're out here to work on.
Right?
Like we can debate tax code and gun rights and everything tomorrow. Like today, let's just focus on war.
Right. Yeah. I mean, realistically, I mean that's the thing. Because I mean, most people I think would agree. You still have, I don't know, I shouldn't say that because I don't know what percent. I know there are some people who support war, like, oh, we pull out, look what's going to happen. And like, I'm sitting here actually, like, I mean, I know you said earlier, like that's the thing. They're going to keep going on with the drone strikes, but like, you have this multi-billion-dollar. What's the annual defense budget now? 700 billion or something like that every year.
Yeah, something preposterous. It's like, like 30% of the GDP or something like that goes to
that money's not just going away. Like it's not like that money's going to, like, a lot of it's going to like manufacturing, like the people who are making the helicopters that like, oh, they just left behind so that they'll have to buy new ones, right? Like that, which is probably one of the reasons they left them behind. So we'd have to buy new ones so that the companies who are making them can stay in business, because those like imagine the, like, if you said the pharmaceutical company is like, oh, we don't need you guys anymore, we're shutting you down, and they said no, those guys are billionaires. They're going to buy everything and like stay in business, whatever they can. They're going to force us to all buy vaccines so they can stay in business. Whatever they have to do, they'll do it.
And that's a really important. That's a really important detail there too. Is even running up to the pullout in Afghanistan, the defense budget has not gone down. It actually increased by 19%. So why are we increasing the defense budget if we're ending a war? And that should key a lot of people into what exactly is going on here.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, I mean, this is the expectation for every single one of those companies that's on the government payroll, especially the big ones like Boeing and Raytheon and, like, you know, all like, they're making billions of dollars from the government every year, and they are not going to give that up. It's not going to happen. And we don't have a say on it. It doesn't matter if there's a war or not. They're going to keep selling shit because we have absolutely no say in it. Of course, if we could stop paying our taxes, and if they couldn't pay for it with inflation, and if we took a stand, then yeah, absolutely, that would come to an end. But everyone's just like, but we gotta pay for these roads, and so now we're like stuck in this loop, and we're paying for it. But it's not gonna happen. Like, and so this is one of the things, right? So these are the fucking tangents I go on. Like, what I was gonna say is, you know, you have people who are pro-war because they think, oh, well, if we just pull out, all these bad things are going to happen. And like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, look how incompetent Joe Biden is. We were supposed to pull out, but he did a terrible job. Maybe he did a terrible job on purpose so that things would just completely go to shit, so that the next time, 10 years from now, we're in some other war in some other country, and everyone's like, oh, we just need to march right out of there. Like Ron Paul said, we marched right in, well, let's march right back out. And people are gonna say, well, you remember what happened in Afghanistan when we did that, and like this is now going to be that story. So Afghanistan, pulling out of Afghanistan is now going to be the reason we can never pull out of anything. And
right.
Like,
I mean, if people didn't see this coming either, they just weren't paying attention, because we did the same thing to the Kurds in Syria, like almost verbatim, pulled out middle of night, left them high and dry, left a bunch of equipment and everything. The only reason why Eastern Syria doesn't look like Afghanistan right now is just because the YPG and the Peshmerga are crazy ass warriors that are holding off Turkey and you know, Al Qaeda, and, you know, holding their ground. But we already did this just a couple of years ago. Like we've done the same thing. So people that are looking at Biden and expecting something different, like, no, we either stay forever or we cut and run and make a giant clusterfuck and a shit show out of it. So we have an excuse to permanently destabilize the area. And it's just really frustrating, you know. And I even see even more goofy things of people being like, I'm so happy we're finally no longer at war for the first time in 20 years. It's like, you don't know anything about what's going on. Like, we have U.S. military defending lithium mines in the Congo and shit, like getting into gunfights with Boko Haram. Like, you know, and obviously, like Yemen and Libya, we just don't talk about Yemen. We don't talk about Libya, what's going on over there. And the fact that they're expanding drone strikes into like Ethiopia and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, like, it's everywhere. It's continuous. And
since, like, you just named off like a whole lot of things that like most people don't know. I didn't even know about half of those. What do you use? Like, where do you go to? What's your news source?
So literally it is just like outsourcing through Twitter. But the thing that is that I'm kind of blessed for the fact that I have such a diverse following of people. From like, I have explicit like Marxist Leninists all the way to like anarcho-capitalists to like GOP voters to like the Green Party, People's Party people. Like, I have all these people, and they, like, when you have that bigger suite, you start falling into things people, you know, your crowd might not care about. Particularly with libertarians. Libertarians don't really focus on imperialism or particularly corporate imperialism that much. So you would never even hear about like the crazy things that we're doing in like South America with the CIA and stuff around the mineral wars and everything. But a bunch of lefties are going to be talking about that constantly. And, you know, that's really important to kind of get that widespread sort of sources of information and get all that coming in, because we're opening new frontiers all the time when it comes to the warfare. And that's, I'm part, the End the Damn Wars is partnered with the Actions for Assange people, which that's a whole nother thing of like the whole Assange crowd are very tuned into what the spooky federal government is doing all over the world, obviously, because Julian Assange has been in a cage for, years, essentially, for exposing just a little fraction of what they get up to. And because of that, this event isn't just focused on the drone strikes and the military and the occupations, but we're also addressing things like, the president of Haiti suddenly, dying under obscure circumstances with a totally not CIA hit squad that they arrested, like the lower level kind of black operations and things going on everywhere. Like, we're trying to address that too, because that's the stuff people don't know about unless they're really tuned in to what's going on. My friend Andrew, he worked as a private military contractor for 10 years. And that guy can just tell you crazy stories about the kind of stuff the CIA get up to. He personally was in Africa defending lithium mines from like locals and very dirty, kind of gross people he was working for, doing very awful things to just get lithium out of their country so we can have more cell phones and computer guided bombs and shit.
Yeah, that's definitely something that like I do hear coming up every once in a while, and like. It's interesting because I do see like some of the people talk about the lithium mines are always attacking people like Elon Musk. And then you see kind of the libertarians or the right come along and say, and start to defend Musk. But it's like they're not defending the stealing of lithium. It's just that, that's not where the battle is. They're defending, their hero, their great capitalist
massive air quotes capitalist.
Yeah. What am I trying to say? Like they're big, like successful billionaire, whatever you want to call it. But so it's interesting because and this is what I've been trying to do with my politics and my activism is to try to like find that line of like, how do we make this? How do we fight an issue where we can see that it benefits everybody equally, like it benefits the left and the right, because like you can have one issue and like everybody says, yeah, this is bad, but then the way like the left might want to do something, the right might want to do the exact same thing and like eliminate something, right? They see the same problem, but then when the left says this is why or how we're going to end it and they pitch it to the right's like, no, that's stupid, that's socialism. And then when the right says this is how we're going to solve that exact same problem, then the left is like, oh no, that's capitalism. And it's just like it's like, guys, like we want to find the same solution, and like we're not even arguing the policy or the change or the actions. All we're arguing is over definitions of like, oh, that's not real capitalism, that's not real socialism. And it's like, that's what actually prevents progress, is that divisive language barrier that's like it's like the Tower of Babel. We're all speaking different languages when it's like we all want to accomplish the same thing and just be fucking left alone and get rid of all the crime and bad things that go on in the world. And it's wild. That's like one of the biggest I don't know. That's been one of my focuses that I like to bring to people's attention, because I think that is our biggest fucking problem.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like a lot of people get dogged by total not plants kind of people in these movements, these organizations, to run them off kind of the real point. That's what's going on. Because I've had a conversation with I think 4 separate like explicit communists at this point, and I just brought it up to them like, hey, would you have any problem with cutting down the tax code to only 10 pages? No slashes to how much they take from people or changing the back end or anything, just making the tax code simple enough for anyone to understand. And they were like, yeah, that sounds like exactly like something I would want to do. That makes perfect sense. That helps the working class, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, that's what Rand Paul tried to do. And he got absolutely torn across the media for even suggesting it. And they're like, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, he also introduced a bill to ban no-knock raids. And they're like, I didn't know that either. So it really is kind of that information warfare and speaking different languages. And I consider myself kind of an expert at code switching, which if people don't in the audience don't know what that term means, it's just essentially like
I got called a fence sitter on my last show because of that.
Right, yeah, like because my dad's side of the family was from Detroit and like very hood and talked very hood, like they lived right on 7 Mile and Gratiot, so like right, and then my mom's side of the family was super country, so I would have to speak and use different like words and slangs and terms depending on who I was around so they could understand me. You then apply that to politics and you kind of adapt like how you sell something to who you're talking to.
Exactly.
Which I feel like libertarians are probably the worst group of people ever for that, which we can get better though, but we're definitely very, 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 very set in our terms.
You have to acknowledge you have to acknowledge the problem first before you can even try to fix it. And that's one of the hard parts is, and I don't want to say this is just libertarians. This is a lot of people. They already know everything. They already know exactly what needs to be done to fix it. And like we got to get out of that mentality because that's disastrous. It's self-destructive. You don't even know it.
Right. And then like, there's just subjects where there people like there's a multiple fights going on, and instead of just picking the part of the fight that we all agree upon, people try to make it very intersectional to where like it's everything at once. And the thing I bring up is with Cuba, to where like if you look at Cuba, everyone on the left thinks it's like utopia essentially, and then all the libertarians don't think it's utopia but don't agree with the embargo. So you think we'd just be able to have a conversation of like, oh, we should end the embargo, but no, like you see people in the that both people that both want to end the embargo just get into giant shit fights over whether
you want to exploit the workers,
right? Yeah, like oh, CIA propaganda, or like you're simping for an authoritarian regime or whatever. And it's like, how about we just like table that half of the argument and just talk about ending the embargo? Because free markets, like how could you say you believe in free markets and then ban trade to a country? That's stupid. We could just focus on that part of the conversation. But no, we have to, like, everything is a package deal. Like you have to address every single thing and agree with every single thing, or you can't work together at all. And this has always drove me mad because I come from the OG environmentalist movement, where we did not care about anything besides the trees, man. The trees in the ocean. Like we didn't care if you were like some super crazy fundamentalist Christian or like some like hippie Marxist. Like you want to show up and chain yourself to this tree to prevent it from being cut down, show up. We didn't ask any of those questions. So where now it seems like everything is there's these package deals where you show up to one of your insulin drives or something like that, and somebody will walk up and be like, well, what's your overall healthcare plan? And it's like, I'm just here to give out insulin, dude. Like, like, can we just focus on why we're here? But no, people get so weird about it.
What's your position on abortion?
Right. That's yeah. I always make the joke of like, when someone walked up and said, hey, I want to wrap my arms around the tree, we'd be like, sure. To where nowadays you would walk up to that and someone would pull you aside and be like, what's your opinion on the police? What's your opinion on abortion? What is your preferred tax policy? And it's like, I don't know, man. I'm just here to prevent the tree from getting cut down.
Right. Yeah, I think that's I don't know. I think it comes from like, and I know like I probably do the same thing. Like I'll bring up taxes no matter where I am. But like I think like it is because so many people are conditioned to be more emotionally active to specific topics, that wherever they are, they want to bring that topic back into the present, back into whatever situation they're in. And like I get it. It's in a way it's kind of a good thing that like people are becoming more aware, but at the same time, a lot of the people who do that are just kind of programmed at that point. They're working on autopilot. They're not being present to the current situation that they're dealing with. And I think that's kind of another problem. We need to be able to come together and stay focused on something when we're working on a certain project, when we're working on a certain issue. We need to be able to come together. We need to be able to put our differences aside and say like, okay, let's fix this thing. We can deal with our differences tomorrow. But for right now, we all agree on this one issue, and any differences that we have should not stop us from solving this issue together.
Yeah, you think that'd be it, but and then you get the people that are just like super single issue to a fault, and they're just like, I'm not interested in having a conversation with anybody on this unless they agree on this one issue. The Bitcoin people,
get out of here, come back when that's the issue.
Right? Yeah, like the Bitcoin people, I love you to death, but you are exactly this of like, why are you not talking about Bitcoin? And it's like, oh my god, like Bitcoin solves this.
Solve everything.
Yeah, Bitcoin solves this as the meme. It's literally like just posts under every subject, no matter what. And then if anybody's like, well, I don't agree with, like, I don't, care, or I don't agree with your take on Bitcoin, it turns into a fight about Bitcoin instead of like whatever the hell we were supposed to be talking about. And that's obviously just one example. There's hundreds of other ones, like, oh, yeah. I get it all the time from people on the left that really hate me of like, oh, you don't care about black liberation. You just oppose the police. And it's like, like, first, what do you even mean by that? And second, all like, what the
enemy?
Hell?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes, simple
just tell them that. Like, I don't care why. We have a common enemy. Let's work together to take them down.
Yep. And you think that'd be simple, but no.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, man, and I really hate hearing that. But we gotta keep pushing that message. Is there anything else you want to say about the event before? Because I do want to talk about the Taliban and the meme wars, which like I see a couple comments like Taliban meme wars. What the fuck what are you talking about?
Yeah, so for the End the Damn Wars thing, we are still in need of a lot of fundraising because we're having like a stage and like audio and stuff like that. We're still a little bit behind on that. So there is a GoFundMe for it. If you look up End the Damn Wars on GoFundMe, or if you look up, I think it's on the Twitter page as well. And we also have a Teespring store. So if you don't want to just give us money for no reason, you want to buy like a t-shirt or something like that, there's a Teespring. You can look it up. It's also End the Damn Wars. That's really needed right now because we're all just like broke and we're normal activists. We're regular poor people. We don't have any backing from any major organization or anything. So
come on, man, where's your Coke money?
Right, where's the Koch brother money? Come on, where's the that DNC dark money? I want to get paid $10K a tweet. Come on,
where's that LNC dark money?
Right, yeah, where's the LNC money? You mean? But yeah, the Taliban picked a fight with libertarians yesterday. It was really funny. You can't show your meme. Okay, I wanted to see this Taliban meme libertarian, and I'm on a government list. Right. Oh, I already screwed up because I one of the big accounts on Twitter. I sent them a DM and I'm like, you selling any of that gear? And I'm like, CIA, it's a joke. Please no Gitmo.
Did they respond?
No. Their DMs are open and they have like 100K followers now. So they're probably just getting drowned in memes and shit now.
Right. LOL. What? Okay. So like I just Googled this and the first thing that came up was a Reddit post. LOL WTF. The Taliban learned to meme before the left.
Yeah, they have some pretty good meme wizards. I mean, they're still like clearly anti-Semitic and like homophobic as fuck. So not rehabilitating the Taliban at all. People need to understand that. But they got good memes. Gotta call it as it is.
Can you describe any of these to me? I'm looking for them. I'm not sure.
So there's an account you can look up. Hang on, let me get the spelling right. This is one of the big Taliban accounts on Twitter. Let's see.
I'm gonna follow it.
So it's Malang. It's Malang Koste.
There it is. 1,140 tweets in the last hour.
Yep. And then like that is just a gold mine of just crazy memes.
Follow. All right. Here we go.
Welcome to the list.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Look. Let me. I'm gonna see if I can.
Pull it up on screen.
Everyone's gonna see my Twitter feed when I do this, but who gives a fuck? We're gonna do this. All right. Here we go. Let me. Can I get you off the screen here so I can? Okay, and apologies to anybody who's listening on the audio only version of this. This is actually this is actually a really good meme. This is, of course, we've seen this meme like in other forms about how the media is subjective and crops an image and like makes it look totally different. That's
But this
yeah,
it's funny because it's coming from the Taliban.
right. Okay, these guys are like dancing.
They're dancing
Is
with
it-
PKMs
is it-
over their
is it
shoulders.
like a TikTok video.
Yeah, they have TikTok accounts too. Like, there's a whole bunch of them.
Is this all like some of this looks like actual news? Maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
this guy live streams from Kabul like every day on Periscope, just walking around Kabul. It's crazy.
That's
Helicopters
wow.
we left.
Is that one of ours?
Yeah, that's one of our transport helicopters.
Quote unquote ours.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
they do memes like this because they talk shit to other Muslims on there. Like, essentially, there's this one meme. I don't know if you'll be able to find it, but it's essentially like the Chad meme, and it's the Taliban. They're like, "Oh, we just took over Afghanistan and made it into an Islamic emirate." And then there's all the other Muslim countries. They're like, "Bro, you can't do that." Like the crying like Wojak meme, but it's like the Saudis and shit. Like, they're talking shit to other Muslim countries on Twitter, and it's wild. Like, we live in a wild time.
Oh man, look at
That's one of the doggos we left over there. RT petting it.
Oh, is that one of yeah, press. Yeah, you know what I thought was interesting was what was it? It was like when the whole thing was going down at the airport, and there was like a woman there reporting, and there was gunfire going on, and like somebody, I think it was somebody from the Taliban was like, yeah, no, leave her alone, she's press. And I'm like, wow, the Taliban, these people who like the US government tells us are like the most evil people in the world, are like making sure that the press doesn't get injured. Meanwhile, the US government is throwing Hellfire missiles at them.
Yep. And killing random innocent people.
Interesting. Or
And
I guess that was a chopper with like some fucking crazy fully automatic shit that was going on.
Yeah, some quad launcher.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. I'm gonna follow this page, and I'm probably gonna watch some of these videos and see what the hell's going on. But
he shares like there's a couple other like really big Taliban accounts on Twitter, which is wild that you can literally just like get into an argument with the Taliban.
But Alex Jones is banned.
Yep. And there's been a lot of hilarious trolling. Like they fell for the whole Ligma thing like 5 times in a row, and they finally got wise to it. Because they're super communicative. Like, if you post, like, they'll usually respond to it. And somebody was like, what is your plan to handle the Ligma outbreak in Kabul? And some guy's like, and the page responded, he's like, what is Ligma? Please answer, and I will help you any way I can. Because they're trying to do like PR. And people just lost their shit.
So, like, what's the story with like all these dogs and everything? Because I'm a dog lover, and like I'm like,
so we the U.S. military has like bomb dogs and working dogs and stuff like that, right? Yeah, we just left them.
Fucking great.
Yeah, that made me really fucking mad yesterday.
I don't care about the choppers, but
you leave the fucking dogs, bro.
Maybe the good news is they'll have better homes there.
But that's the thing is the Taliban. That was that one picture of the RT reporter leaning down and petting one of the dogs that you saw up there. Yeah, that one right there. The Taliban made that's actually the video you're hovering over. They made an official statement saying that they're going to actually like put them to work, and they're not going to like kill them all, because a lot of people were worried that they were just going to shoot them or something.
That's good.
So yeah, the Taliban gave an official statement to RT being like, we will take care of the hundreds of dogs you just left in the fucking Kabul airport, U.S. military. Thanks.
Like, what's your opinion on the Taliban? Like,
I mean, it's kind of twofold. Like, they are a autocratic, authoritarian, extreme right wing like theocracy. They are not good people, but it's also their fucking country. You know? So it's like, just you know, like,
I mean, are they enforcing these? Obviously they're trying to become the ruling government. Is what they're trying to do? Hang on, I'm gonna turn this screen share thing off. Is what they're trying to do? Is that like are they oppressively forcing this on people who don't want it, or is it
the very first thing they did when they came into power, it was like 2 days ago, is they announced that they're going to be confiscating all firearms from anyone who's not the Taliban.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, and we all know where that goes. Well, the first thing they do is take the
Right.
guns, and then what happens after that? So
because like at the same time, it feels kind of like, you know, and I don't want to say they're good people if they're not, but it feels like when you have a lot of people who are just pissed off about being oppressed, and I see this in the U.S., right? I see a lot of people who are pissed off that the U.S. government, or the you know, the local city governments are killing innocent people. They get pissed off and they want to do something and they retaliate, and they don't know the best way to, they don't know the best response, and so they end up doing something that in turn looks like another evil, when ultimately it's like it's not an offensive evil, it's a defensive evil. And I'm wondering, you know, how much of this is defensive, because I know like the whole story of the Taliban goes back to like what the fucking Russians in the 80s and probably even further. And you know, like before we didn't hear anything from them. Now they're like talking to the media. They're like they've got PR, they've got like all this other shit. And it's like, I mean, before, like, what was the difference between them and ISIS? There wasn't any, according to like US media, right?
right.
So
Yeah, I definitely think that like we're going to see a slightly more modern kind of like Taliban, for lack of better term, modern. Like they are on social media, they are talking to people, they can see the outside world and everything. It's probably not going to be like how it was when we first propped them up and they essentially like put Afghanistan back into the into the 1800s essentially, and just pulled everything back. Probably won't see that. But I mean, they still are like enforcing like a hard, strict code of Sharia law and a bunch of other stuff. So like, we'll see. I really do hope that essentially it becomes kind of like Iran or something like that, where it's like somewhere between like a third world and a second world kind of country, where you can still go there, you can walk around, like there's still like women with some degree of freedom and everything. We can hope it's that, but it doesn't appear like it's going to be this giant bloodbath that the neocons are like, they're going to pull every single woman who has ever trained how to read or write and shoot them in the street and kill all the gay. Like probably not, but it's not going to be great either, you know? So
right.
We just kind of have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Right. Yeah, especially with confiscating guns. I mean, like, so there's, okay, when guns are confiscated, there's it can be for different reasons, right? It could be that that, you know, they're planning to do something like load them all up into boxcars and kill them. But it could also be that, okay, you know, we don't know who to trust because we just, you know, the US government was here, they were partners and friends with like lots and lots and lots of people. We just don't know who to trust. And so this isn't about you know, and not to say that they're not going to be oppressive in any way, but that's the reason for it, is now just a lack of trust instead of like an existing plan to do something that they know there's going to be resistance. So I don't know. I think that's interesting. But yeah, it's you know, time is the only way we're going to find out. Yeah, it's
everything's kind of up in the air about it. So, you know, well, yeah, no idea. I mean, the actually, again, this is the whole thing, is you don't even have to assume like why the Taliban took the guns, because they'll just tell you. They posted on Twitter it's because of that ISIS attack. So they're like, we don't know who's ISIS and who's an insurgent or not, so we need to confiscate all the guns. Sounds kind of familiar to what they're doing in the United States of like, oh, we don't know who's a dangerous radical extremist, so we need gun control. Right. You know, it's government's gonna government no matter what kind of government it is. But yeah,
exactly. And yeah, and I think that kind of turns into one of those arguments, like when the U.S. is going to start talking about confiscating guns. Well, that's what the Taliban did. Do you want to be like the Taliban? And then it's going to be like, oh, no, that's different. And then now we're not talking about the actual issue anymore. We're talking about the divisive other kind of shit on the side, which sucks. But that's where that's going to go.
Yep.
But yeah, I digress.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but we hope that they don't try to go back in, because it seems like they want to go back in after ISIS-K really bad. And again, they don't even have to go back in. They might just like drone strike, the northern provinces and
they're going to find a way to keep spending money no matter what. I guarantee that.
Yep. Or we'll just fund another proxy army, the Northern Alliance or something, to fight the Taliban. Like that.
Yep. The budget will not go down. The money will go somewhere.
Yep. But yeah, that's the thing is again, people check out the Teespring and the Damn Wars, the GoFundMe and the Damn Wars, Twitter and the Damn Wars. And then I'm actually going on a Savage Joy Marie's show later today to talk about it. So that's going to be cool. So I'm going to go from this show to like a super left-wing show and be talking about the same thing. So that will be cool. And yeah, we are at like an hour though. So I do have to go get ready for that though. But
yes, I was just about to wrap the show up.
Yeah.
But thanks for making it awkward. All right. So yeah, you just gave us all the social media. What's the website or is it a long link? You want to send that to me and I'll post it on the video?
Nope, it's so easy to find everything. It's so easy to find everything because it's just endthedamnwars.org. So everything is just End the Damn Wars on everything. So it's super easy to find.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess that's it then. Thanks again for joining. This has been an awesome episode. If you enjoyed the episode, or even if you didn't, make sure to like it, share it, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Facebook, hit like, share, follow, all that kind of stuff. Oh, my camera just disappeared, but I'm still here.
Especially if you didn't like it, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is algorithms, and you'll like the next episode. I'll tell you how to not pay taxes, because I talk about that just about every episode. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Taxation is theft.
Woo.